Hello and welcome to the history of movie theaters and drive-ins for the Tulsa area for 1930 to 1959. 1931. The Lyric Theater closes or stopped placing ads in the newspapers. 1932. Ads for the Strand Theater stopped. 1933. The Gem Theater opens on October 7th. 1934. The Actor Temple stops showing movies. 'The Old Gaiety is renamed the Capitol Theater. 1935. The OK Theater is first mentioned in the newspapers on October 20th. The Palace Theater closes or stopped placing ads. The Wonderland reopens as the State Theater. 1936. The Rita Theater opens. The OK Theater closes or stopped placing ads in the newspapers in February. 1937. The Tower Theater is opened by Southwestern Theaters on October 27th. Bijou Amusements opens the Rex Theater for Afro-Americans. 1938. The Delman Theater is opened on March 17th by Southwestern Theaters. 1940. The Dixie Theater closes. 1941. The Tulsa Theater is opened by Griffith Amusements on February 19th. The Pines Theater is opened by Griffith Amusements on November 19th. The Red Fork Theater opens. These theaters closed in 1941. 1942. The Will Rogers Theater is opened by Griffith Amusements on July 21st. 1943. The Uptown Theater is opened with little fanfare at the site of the old Capitol Theater. 1944. The Red Fork Theater closes. 1946. The Cove Theater opens. 1947. The Highway 66 Drive-In is opened by Griffith Amusements as the first drive-in in the Tulsa region. The Royal Theater closes. 1948. The Skyline Drive-In opens on April 23rd. The new Royal Theatre opens or placed its first ad on April 30th. It was at 2637 Northeast 11th. The Riverside Drive-In opens on May 7th. The Apache Drive-In is opened on July 7th for Afro-Americans and for whites only on July 23rd. The Peoria Theatre for Afro-Americans opens. 1949. The Brook Theatre opens on December 1st. The Strand Theatre closes. 1950. The new Strand Theatre opens on April 3rd. The Sand Springs Drive-In opens on April 27th. Griffith Theatres closed the Rita and State Theatres. 1951. The Sheridan Drive-In opened on April 20th. The Modern Air Drive-In opens on May 24th. The Airview Drive-In opens on June 7th. The Cameo and the New Strand Theatres closed in 1951. 1952. The Modern Air Drive-In reopens on June 19th as the Admiral Drive-In. The Gem Theatre closes. 1953. The Bel-Air Drive-In opens on June 5th. The Broken Arrow Drive-In opens on June 30th. 1954. The Regal Theatre at 1431 North Lansing opens. The Tower Theatre closes. 1955. The second screen of the Admiral Drive-In opens on April 29th. The Regal Theatre closes. 1956. The Cove and Pines Theatre closes. 1957. These theaters closed in 1957. 1959. The Ritz Theatre closes. Thanks for watching and remember to like and subscribe.